Shalom everyone, this is Kazak Eliyahu Yasharal and welcome to another one of our videos. Today we will be looking at woman in subjection. What does the Bible really mean? Coming right up. And before I begin, let me just declare, I am not a hater of women. And I have to just teach and speak that which is laid on my heart. Okay? So what I'm speaking here, it's scripture, precept upon precept upon precept, line upon line upon line, here a little, there a little. And we have to appreciate that when we come into the truth as to who we are, the children of Yasharal, we must understand that there was a way that was given unto us. Moses said, there is no nation that have been given laws such as these. The Most High said in Deuteronomy 7:6 that we are set apart people above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Our ways were different from the ways of the other nations, which is why the Most High told us, do not adopt the ways of the nations. But we were sent into captivity, and we have been in captivity for hundreds of... No, that's not the Most High's order. The woman must be in subjection, as his scriptures say. And we're going to look into that, and we're going to look more into the why. And when we see the why, then we'll get the understanding as to why. Because a lot of people, they just looked at it on the, from the surface. Women under subjection. No, why must we be under subjection? Not all men, women must not be subjected to all men, and a lot of things. But let's get to the why, and let's begin with the book of Yeshayahu 3 verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. Who rule over them? Women. And let's see what the women who rule over them are going to let them do. O my people, they which lead thee, women, cause thee to err, and to destroy the way of thy paths. That is the woman. When the woman is in leadership, they will cause our people to err and destroy the way of their paths, or our paths. And remember, we are following the way. And if we put a woman to lead us, that woman is going to corrupt the way. I didn't say it. It's the scriptures that say it. All right? So we're going to see how this way actually works out. Let me see if I can get it. So let's go to the order. And when the order was usurped, or the order was corrupted, when the leadership is taken over by the woman, then the order is corrupted. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband, and he did eat. This was where the order was corrupted. The woman made the decision and led her husband into her error. But let's see what caused the usurpation. What caused all of this to happen? Genesis 3 verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahuwah Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath Elohim said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. So the fruit which is in the midst of the garden, and what does this remind us of? Flee from the midst of Babylon. The tree in the midst of the garden, ye shall not eat. Verse 4, And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. For Elohim doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And then we get to a verse. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So it was the serpent who corrupted the order. The serpent deceived the woman. The serpent deceived the woman. That is why when a woman is in leadership, nothing has changed. Because what threw the woman into being deceived by the serpent? When she saw that the tree was good for food, lust of the flesh, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, lust of the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, pride of life, that is when she did what she did. And this is a woman's nature all over. Sad to say. Again, not knocking women, but the truth is the truth. Okay? And the judgment, because we're going to come right back to this. But let's look at the judgment first in verse 16. The judgment. Unto the woman he said, this is when Yahuwah came in. And Yahuwah said, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Now this verse is very critical when we look at other translations. The New Living Translation said, and you will desire to control your husband, but he will rule over thee. The English Standard Version says, your desire shall be contrary to your husband, but he shall rule over you. The Net Bible says, you will want to control your husband, but he will dominate you. So that's it. The woman wanting to control her husband. So this is why women have to be in subjection. The natural urge that is in a woman to control her husband, to be in control, has to be controlled, for want of a better word. Okay? So that is why a woman is in subjection, to make sure that that urge to control does not come to the surface and overpower her. Now going back to verse 6, let's go to a tree to be desired to make one wise. The word wise there comes from the Hebrew word sakal. Very important, sakal, which is a primitive root to be, causatively make or act circumspect and hence intelligent. So Kwa wanted to be intelligent. Consider expert, instruct, prosper, deal prudently, give skillful, have good success, teach. So Kwa wanted to lead, wanted to teach, wanted to instruct, have, make to understand, understanding, have, make to have wisdom, be, behave, self, consider, make wise, wisely, guide wittingly. So, she wanted to lead and to guide wittingly, to teach, to instruct Adam. This is in a woman, which is why if you check the internet today, YouTube, that is why you find so many women with YouTube channels teaching. That is a desire that is in them to teach. But nothing has changed from the beginning, because when they teach, then Hasatan comes in and deceives them. And those people who they are leading will end up being led down the wrong path and being caused to err. That's what it is. So that is why we have 1 Timothy 2, verse 9. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but which becometh woman professing holiness with good works. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. That's why we have that. That's why the woman has to be in all subjection. Because Eve was not in subjection, which was why she was deceived. So, the apparel of a woman has to do also with subjection. And we will look at that as well. So, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. The meaning of subjection there is the Greek hupotage, which comes from G5293, subordination, subjection. Yes? So a woman must be in subjection to the man. And he went on. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. This goes right back to Adam and Eve, because what we must understand that our righteousness has to go back and undo all that was done with Adam. So for us to be righteous, we cannot be righteous and still usurping the order that Hawa did to Adam. We have to go back and undo it. So the woman, I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man as Hawa did to Adam, but to be in silence. So if the woman was silent at the time when the serpent came and didn't do anything, but came to the man for the man to make the decision, then the man would have said to the serpent, get away from here. What is that you're telling us? Yahuwah says, what Yahuwah says we will do, we will do. Verse 13 says, for Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. There we go. He's tying this subjection and silence to Adam and Hawa. But the woman being deceived was in the transgression. So that is why the woman must not teach nor usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. Okay? So the question of deceived. What does it mean here by deceived? And we go to Bereshith 3:13 and 16. And Yahuwah said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. What is the meaning of beguile? And it comes from the Hebrew nasha, which is a primitive root to lead astray. That is, mentally to delude or morally to seduce. Beguile, deceive. Greatly, utterly. So the serpent deceived me. The serpent seduced me. The serpent deluded me. Yeah? This is what happens to a woman in leadership. When a woman wants to lead a man, the serpent will beguile her. And we're going to see later. Right now we're going to see it. How the Most High will allow us to be beguiled, to be deceived, if we do not follow his order. Let me say it again. The Most High will allow us to be deceived if we do not follow his order. Let's see. All right. 2 Chronicles 18:18 to 22. Now this situation was when Ahab, the king of Yasharal at the time, wanted to unite with Jeroboam, the king of Yehuda, to go and fight, I think it was the Syrians. And Micaiah was telling Ahab that he would not succeed. But Ahab was determined and found other prophets that told him that he would succeed. So Yahuwah decided that he was going to let Ahab die and fall. So here is the situation. Yahuwah asked this Ruachot that were around him. Let's go to verse 18 and we see what he said. Again, he said, therefore hear the word of Yahuwah. I saw Yahuwah sitting upon his throne, and all the hosts of Shamaim standing on his right hand and on his left. And Yahuwah said, who shall entice Ahab, king of Yasharal, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one spake, saying after this manner, and another saying after that manner. Then there came out a Ruach, and stood before Yahuwah, and said, I will entice him. And Yahuwah said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go out and be a lying Ruach in the mouth of all his prophets. And Yahuwah said, Thou shalt entice him, and thou shalt also prevail. Go out and do even so. Now therefore, behold, Yahuwah hath put a lying ruach in the mouth of these thy prophets, and Yahuwah hath spoken evil against thee. And the rest of the story, Ahab went and he died. Yahuwah will allow us to be deceived if we do not want to obey his word. And he said it in 2 Thessalonians 2, when he said he will give you a strong delusion and let you believe a lie. Because if he tells you the truth and you do not want to take heed to the truth, he will make you believe a lie. Yes? This is what happens to the women who are in leadership, who are leading men. So you might ask, what about this? Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male or female, for all are one in Mashiach, Yahusha. What about that? Neither male nor female. Because this is one of the things that the ladies or the women go to say, neither male nor female. Yes? But John 17:20-21 and 23 tells us, it says, ye are all one. This is the operative. What does it mean to be all one? John 17:20, neither pray I for these alone, but for them also which shall believe on me through their word, that they may all be one, as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee, that they also may be one in us, that the world may believe that thou hast sent me. I in them, and thou in me, that they may be made perfect in one, and that the world may know that thou hast sent me and hast loved them as thou hast loved me. So, one, what does it mean to be in one? Even though we are in one, we are not the same. We and the Messiah are one, but we are not equal to the Messiah, because there is an order of the Most High, which is given to us in 1 Corinthians 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Mashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Mashiach is Alua. So even though we are one, and there's neither male nor female, there is still an order. Otherwise, there would be confusion. Because if we were to be one with Mashiach and be one with the Most High, and then be equal to them, then it would mean that we be equal to the Most High and equal to the great Hamashiach, who offered up himself as a spotless lamb. Likewise, the woman is not equal to the man. Here is the order. The head of every man is Hamashiach. Yes, the woman cannot be the head of the man. And the head of the woman is the man. Hamashiach is not the head of the woman directly. Hamashiach is the head of a woman indirectly through the man. So there is an order, even though we are one. Okay? So, yeah, we were saying about the modest adornment of the woman being part of the subjection, because a woman's pride is in her looks, the pride of life, lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes. That's her pride. So for her to be in subjection, that pride has to be stymied. That pride has to be suppressed. And so if we go to 1 Peter 3, verse 1, likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may, without the word, be won by the conversation of the wives, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. Whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair, and of wearing of gold, or of putting on of apparel. But let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet ruach, which is in the sight of Allure of great price. For after this manner, in the old time, the set-apart women also, who trusted in Allure, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him master, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement. Likewise, Ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of the Torah. Knowledge of the order of the Most High. You do not dwell with them in weakness. Yes? So even though you love them, you dwell with them according to knowledge. Giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel. So you dwell with them according to knowledge and give them honor. So even though they are in subjection, you will be honoring them. So their subjection will not be something that you trod upon. Because this is what a lot of the women are afraid of. They are afraid of being in subjection to the men, and then the men tread upon them and use them and treat them like dirt. Men, if you do that, then your salvation is in danger. Because you must give honor to them as unto the weaker vessel. So you treat them with care. You treat them with respect. You honor them for their subjection. And as being heirs together of the favor of life, that your prayers be not hindered. So if you deal with them rashly, harshly, if you manipulate them and abuse them and push them around and because of their subjection, it says your prayers will be hindered. You have to treat them well. It goes two ways. It's not a woman alone thing and the woman and subjection and you, the boss, come around. Oh, do this and do this and boss them around. That's not it. They are in subjection and you honor them and keep them and you make them feel happy that they have subjected themselves to you. That's it. They're happy and they are comfortable and loving the subjection. That is why, as we said, the adornment has to do with subjection, which is why you have in 1 Corinthians 11:3 head coverings. A lot of people or women don't believe in this head covering. A lot of daughters of Zion, when you get the understanding of it, then you know. The woman's pride is her hair. For a woman to be under subjection, remember we said the apparel has to be modest in order to bring that woman under subjection. Therefore, the hair, the pride and splendor of the woman has to be covered to keep her under subjection. And this is why you have new designs in women's hats. First, a long time ago, I knew that women's hats were like big and covered everything. Now you have little hats covering a little, catching on the sides, because the women are determined they want to show the hair. So the hat makers know that if they make a hat that reveals the hair, then it's going to sell a lot. And so guess what? They don't care about following any laws. They make those hats and those hats sell because the woman, her splendor, not wanting to be under subjection, is just wanting to show her hair. So she buys those token hats and shows her hair. And some of them, even when they have head covering that cover their hair, they have a little thing here that left out. And you know what they call baby hair, the wave hair? They show that here just to show some sort of pride in their ear. You might show their headline. The woman's head must be covered so you don't see her hair. That's covering your pride. So when we go to 1 Corinthians 11, then we can get the understanding as to why the woman's head must be covered. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Mashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Mashiach is Alua. Every man praying or prophesying having his head covered dishonoreth his head. So the man dishonors his head by covering his head. Because the head of the man is Mashiach. But the woman covers her head in submission to the man. But the man does not have to cover his head, because if he covers his head, he now will be doing the same thing that the woman is doing. Let's go. Every man praying or prophesying having his head covered dishonoreth his head. And every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head. For that is even all one as if she were shaven. So the man's head, having his physical head covered, dishonoreth his head, which is Hamashiach. But every woman that pray or prophesy with her physical head covered, dishonoreth her head, which is her husband. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. So if the woman's head is not covered, then let her shave her head. Why? Take away her pride. That is why it says let her be shorn. Why? Because the hair is a woman's splendor. So the same effect that you get from shaving the hair is the same effect you get from covering the hair, because you are covering the woman's pride. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and splendor of allure. But the woman is the splendor of the man. So because she's the splendor of the man, she puts herself under subjection to the man by covering her splendor or glory or kavod, which is her hair. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels. The woman has to have power on her head by keeping down her pride, covering her pride, her hair. Nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman, neither the woman without the man in the master. So they both need each other. For as the woman is of the man, even so is the man also by the woman, but all things of allure. Judge in yourselves, is it comely that a woman pray unto allure uncovered? Doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him? Hear this. But if a woman have long hair, it is a splendor to her, for her hair is given her for a covering. That's why she covers her hair. It is a splendor. It is her crowning splendor. So that is why she doesn't pray unto allure uncovered, because you come to the Most High in humility. Yes? Covering your splendor. All right? But if any man seem to be contentious, we have no such custom, neither the assemblies of allure. So our people never had any such custom. That's what it was speaking about. This custom of uncovering the hair is of the Gentiles. We have no such custom, neither the assemblies of allure have such customs. All right? So, continuing with the subjection, we are going to look at the fact that a woman must reverence her husband, as it is written. A woman must do what? Reverence her husband. And we are going to go to the book of Ephesians chapter 5, verse 33. Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife, even as himself. And the wife see that she reverence her husband. So this is it. When a woman is in subjection, it is to a man. The man must love the woman as himself. Fervently love the woman, but not dwell with the woman according to emotions, but according to knowledge, showing them all sort of love and honor as the wife. And what does the wife have to do in return? She has to reverence her husband. So this is a perfect marriage. This is a perfect marriage. Woman in subjection to the man. The man honors the woman, dwells with her according to knowledge, and loves her as himself. And the woman herself reverences her husband. And let's see what reverence means. It's from the Greek phobio, from G5401, to frighten. That is passively to be alarmed. This is what the woman reverences her husband. She is frightened of him. She's alarmed of him. By analogy, to be in awe. That is revere. Wow. To be sore afraid. To fear exceedingly. Reverence. You see that? It's a similar fear that you have for the Most High, you must have for your husband. That's what a woman should do. Yes? The husband in turn, love the wife as himself. Honor the wife, even as to the weaker vessel. And show her all love. And dwell with her according to knowledge. That is the perfect marriage. And it is the righteous and holy marriage. So a woman wanting to teach, that's not it. A woman must be in subjection and in silence. Well, what about this? Joel 2:28. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my ruach upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. Wow, this is what the woman turned to. Another one that the woman turned to say, hey, it says in the end times we will prophesy. But guess what? What's the difference between prophesying and teaching? Prophesying is speaking under inspiration. Prophesying is foretelling events under the Most High's inspiration. It is not teaching. It is not pointing out things. It is not instructing. It's not breaking down things and goading things and dealing with precepts and taking up the Bible and showing you this and that. It is speaking under divine inspiration. And a woman may sing under divine inspiration, write poems under divine inspiration. A woman might come with a word that the Most High has given to her for a man, but the woman will not be breaking down scriptures and teaching. That's the difference between teach and prophesying. Big difference. Yes? So for example, Miriam the prophetess, Shemoth 15:20, Exodus 15:20. And Miriam the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. And Miriam answered them, Sing ye to Yahuwah, for he hath triumphed splendidly. The horse and his rider he hath thrown into the sea. And she continued with a song unto the Most High, under the inspiration of the Most High, singing praises to the Most High, not teaching the people. That was the job of Moses. What about Deborah? Deborah was a prophetess who judged under inspiration of the Most High. Yeah? She judged Israel. Let's look. Judging Israel is not teaching. And the children of Yasharal again did evil in the sight of Yahuwah when Ehud was dead. And the children of Yasharal cried unto Yahuwah, for he had 900 chariots of iron, and 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Yasharal. This was Yabin, king of Canaan, who reigned in Azor. He was speaking about terrify the children of Yasharal. And Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, she judged the Yasharal at that time. Judge Yasharal. Judge there is from the Hebrew shafat, which means to judge. That is pronounced sentence for or against, by implication to vindicate or punish, by extension to govern, passively to litigate, literally or figuratively. Avenge, that condemn, contend, defend, execute judgment, be a judge, judgment, needs, plea, reason, rule. All of those things have nothing to do with teaching. Yes? She judged between right and wrong under the inspiration of Alua. Because if you continue in Judges 4 and 5, you will see a situation in which she judged. And she judged under inspiration, prophesying while she's judging. That is different. That is not a teacher. The Most High never calls a woman to teach. He would go against his word, against his order. A judge is not a teacher. All right? Now, the reason why this teaching is very important, it is because in the end time, it is prophesied. It is prophesied that in the end time, a prophetess, a Jezebel, will be leading his people, and for that he will put his people in great tribulation because they allowed themselves to be taught by this prophetess Jezebel. And of course, this is occurring all over the world. Women prophetesses are jumping up all over the world on YouTube, leading people. I mean, there were times I could hardly find a man to listen to. So many women. Every time you come up is a woman prophesying, a woman speaking. Yes? Let's see what it has to say in the book of Kezion, chapter 2, verse 18. And unto the angel of the assembly in Thyatira write, These things saith the son of Alua, who hath his eyes like unto a flame of fire, and his feet are like fine brass. I know thy works, and charity, and service, and faith, and thy patience, and thy works, and the last to be more than the first. So these people were well equipped. They had works, they had love, they had service, they had emunah, and they had patience and works more emphasized. Notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee, because thou sufferest that woman Jezebel, which calleth herself a prophetess, to teach and to seduce my servants to commit fornication and to eat things sacrificed unto idols. This is what the women are doing today. They are saying that they are prophetesses and using it as a forum, as a launching pad to teach. But this is what it's talking about. That woman Jezebel. And we know the characteristics of Jezebel. Unruly, against the order of the Most High, painting up her face, fancying up herself, which goes against, as we said, the modest apparel and the covering of the hair and all of that. Totally against it. She calls herself a prophetess because this is the excuse they use in the end time. I'm a prophetess. Joel 2:28 says that we would prophesy. To teach and to seduce. So seduce there is the same word that is used when the Most High went to Eve and said, what have you done? And Eve said, the serpent beguiled me. The serpent seduced me. So when a woman is leading, serpent will come again and seduce the woman and cause the woman to seduce those who follow her. It's the same thing that happened to Kwa. The serpent seduced her and she seduced her husband. Right? To seduce, to deceive my servants, to trick my servants. And this Jezebel here comes from a root which means false teacher. False teacher which calls herself a prophetess, to teach and to trick and to seduce my servants to commit fornication, which is idolatry, and to eat things sacrificed unto idols, which means to follow up and promote an image. And this has happened to our people, 2.8 billion people in this today. Fornication, idolatry, worshipping JC, Jesus Christ, and following his image. If you have been following our teachings on Just a Word, you will know that we showed that the second beast of Revelation 13 is 666, chi z stigma. The Greek chi z stigma, which translates to Christ on a cross. That is the idol that these women are leading people to follow. JC. And I gave her space to repent of her fornication, and she repented not, because it's all over the place now. Internet now. JC is a false Messiah. He was given to us by the Edomites. It is their Messiah. And we know about the creation of JC, how the Council of Nicaea, they came together and chose their God. And their God, inspired by Jesus Christ, the Gallic Celtic deity that was brought to Rome by the Gallic priests, by the Druids. And you can search for that. We have the video, Who is Jesus Christ, on our Just a Word channel, that you can search it out. But they have been given the chance. There are a lot of people going around now and telling the true names of the Most High, revealing who the people of the Most High are, and they don't want to hear. They don't want to repent. Behold, I will cast her into a bed, and them that commit adultery with her into great tribulation, except they repent of their deeds. So those people who follow these women and continue to raise up this idol, JC, and continue to follow him, right? He says he will throw her into a bed, and them that commit adultery with her into great tribulation. So great tribulation is promised to those who follow women, teachers, who let women teach them, who let women lead them. And furthermore it says, and I will kill her children with death. And all the assemblies shall know that I am he which searcheth the reins and hearts, and I will give unto every one of you according to your works. But unto you I say, unto the rest in Thyatira, as many as have not this doctrine, and which have not known the depths of Satan, as they speak, I will put upon you none other burden, but that which ye have already, hold fast till I come. In other words, those who are, let's go there, those who have works and charity and service and faith and patience and works, and who follow these false women teachers, they will be thrown into great tribulation. Can you imagine that? But those who reject those teachings, that will be enough. They are going to be holding fast until the Messiah comes. They are going to be waiting on the Messiah. You see the difference? You see the importance of this teaching? Because some also might be saying, hey, but this is talking about wives. What about the woman? All right. Well, Isaiah 4 verse 1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So, the daughters of Zion require a man to take away their reproach. Yes? Wow. And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion and he that remaineth in Jerusalem shall be called Kadosh, even everyone that is written among the living in Jerusalem. When? When is that? When Yahuwah shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof, by the rock of judgment and by the rock of burning. So how does he purge, or does he wash away the filth of the daughters of Zion? Yeah? By taking away their reproach, by being under subjection to the men. And we see the subjection here is that they are even willing to 7 of them to have the same husband. That's how much important it is for the woman to be under subjection. They are willing to not even let the men provide for them. They will provide for themselves. Only let us be called by thy name. Only let us be subjected to you to take away our reproach. All right? So, whoa, this is how important it is for the woman to be under subjection. That's how important it is. Yes? And so, I hope we get an understanding of the subjection now. And it's not like putting down the woman and putting down. It is the order. It is restoring the order that Kwa usurped. The man, Adam, being the leader, and the woman, Kwa, coming and usurping the order, being seduced by the devil, and in turn seducing the man. We want to get back to the order whereby the woman is under subjection to the man. So the devil cannot appeal to the pride of life, lust of the flesh, and lust of the eyes that actually is the woman's weakness. No, he will have to come to a man, and the man will be led by the Ruach, Mashiach. The man will not be easily deceived. All right? It's a reason the serpent did not go to Adam, because he knows the man's nature. He went to the weaker vessel, which is the woman. And it is that order that we are restoring through Yahushua HaMashiach. And it says in Romans 5:19, for as by one man's disobedience many were made sinners, so by the obedience of one shall many be made righteous. So the obedience of HaMashiach to the Most High's order, many are made righteous by following the order set by the Most High. The head of the woman is the man, the head of the man is Mashiach, and the head of Mashiach is Alua. Yes? So that is it. All right? That is the order. That is why women must be under subjection. Not to boss them around or anything like that, but to make sure that they are subdued in righteousness, so that the enemy cannot get at them. As soon as they are on top leading, the enemy will sweep them away. They must be in subjection to the men to take away their reproach. All right? So this is Kazak Aliyahu Yasharal here. And thank you for watching. Please like if you like, share, subscribe, and comment. Share, please. Let this thing go around, all right? And leave your comments on it so we can have a discussion. We learn from the comments, all right? So thank you once again for watching. And as usual, shalom. Until next time.